All right, I think we are live. This is looking good. I think this is doing what we're expecting. Amazing. Hey, welcome along to our first live on YouTube desktop setup. Amazing. We're good to go. This is cool. All right. Hey, everybody, if you're in the chat, welcome. In this video, I am going to be doing the predicted 11 ahead of our game tonight against Minnesota United. And I think it's a 11 that could be... This one for me is going to be an 11 that I would like to see. I think it's really unpredictable who we're going to see tonight. There's a lot of games going on in the next week. We have, of course, Inter Miami on Wednesday. We have Columbus Crew next weekend. And then we have Inter Miami again. So there's a lot going on in terms of schedule, in terms of players being able to be rested. And we also need to be getting wins in these games. Ultimately, we can't really start any of these competitions without we want to win. We want to win straight up. Like, we want to win. This team is good enough and it should be winning. So we need to be using their squad to its maximum and also being able to rest as many players as we can, being able to still get results. And that's really a hallmark of an elite team, a team that can really go on and do something. I think, as I think a couple of you have maybe mentioned in the last couple of weeks, it's important for me to see this team maybe get hands on some more silverware again. So I think Champions Cup, maybe we should be perhaps prioritizing somewhat. It's a difficult competition, of course, but it is a quick route to some silverware, and I think that can really set up a team for later on in this season or even just the years ahead, you know. So I'd love to see perhaps a Champions Cup win. And so I might make a couple of changes with that in mind ahead of this game, but ultimately I don't think we can go too soft. I think we've really got to continue the momentum, and I think that form of momentum is more important. It's early in the season. The players haven't had to play tons and tons of games yet. They've still hopefully got lots of legs and energy in them. And I think if we can get off to a good start and get a cup in the bag very early on, I think we should be in a much better place. So anyway, let's jump into the predicted 11 on the kind of analytics board that I normally use. Here we go. All right, here we go. So this is the... let me switch this one back out to what it's supposed to be. All right, so this is the 11 from last week that started, and I think we need to make a couple of changes to this ahead of this game. Minnesota United are very good on the transition. They have scored quite a few goals on the counter, and a lot of crosses from wide is kind of one of their stronger points. So I think we need to look at that in this game. But overall, I think their defense is not incredibly strong, and our attack should have too much for them. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. So we're going to start off with Schwacke in goal. He's barely faced any shots this year, really. He's made good saves when he's had to, and his way that he possesses the ball, controls the ball, the way the team plays with him in goal. I mean, we haven't actually... I don't think we've lost in any game he's started, so that's not bad. A record. If we can keep that up for as long as possible, that's great, good with me. But yeah, in terms of his ball playing with the feet, the perfect goalkeeper out of the goalkeepers we have, so he gets to start. Next, we're going to see Bauer, as you saw just a moment ago. I think Bauer should be starting in at right back. I believe that we need that extra defensive solidity for this game, particularly with the transition play, the players out on the wings. I think he's going to add a little bit more stability. Nahar has maybe not had the best start to this year. He's not looked particularly in form yet. And I don't think we need that maybe creative flow behind so much from that right side. I think we would be better off being more defensively solid for this game. Their attack is really their biggest asset. I think if we can neutralize that with some really solid defending, I think Bauer has a more traditional role when he plays on that right back role to kind of move forward, maybe overlap occasionally, but be really solid in there. And I think that's what we need for this game. Palacios is going to be in at right centre back for me. Carries on there, no problem. We need the pace. The pace in behind is a bit of an issue, so we need to just be able to have lots of pace ready for those transition balls. Same with Wellesley, exactly the same thing. Plenty of pace in behind, and these two I think should have enough to keep them quiet. The issue is more in the kind of midfield with Tronkalei and Pereira as well on the wing. So that's really the place we need to look out. Now left back, I think I'm going to carry on with Dan Lovitz in my predicted 11. I think his defensive solidity again is probably the major point for me. I don't want him to be seeing too many games. Isaiah LaFleur is one that's interesting me because we haven't seen him play yet, and I feel like he may be a combination of sort of a bit of both of Lovitz and Reed Baker Whiting, but with the defensive requirements of this game, I'm not confident in Reed Baker Whiting yet. So he's going to stay on the bench for me, and Lovitz is going to start. I think Isaiah LaFleur is unlikely. We haven't seen him play yet at all. So Lovitz gets the start for me for this game. Hopefully he's got enough in the legs and in the tank for the Inter Miami game next week. Or this week. Centre midfield, Yazbek. I think Yazbek's going to end up coming in here where Corcoran is. Corcoran is not going to be available for this game, I don't believe. I think the Continental red card carries over into MLS, so he won't be playing. So Yazbek sitting in there, Tagseth on the left-hand side. I think this ends up meaning that really probably Yazbek drops back into here. Eddie comes and sits in this kind of position here. Hani ends up playing back in the midfield again in this sort of 10 role. Sort of right-sided 8-10 role. And then Corcoran goes back here and gets traded out for Sam Surridge. I think that's likely the replacement for Corcoran is Surridge. Surridge is fit and he's back. I mean, it was illness. That was the issue, was illness. It wasn't anything muscular or anything like that. So he's back in the side. And I think that makes a big difference to the way that we're going to play. I think it's a big difference to our confidence as well. So Yazbek's in there, Tagseth's in there. I think both of these players have to press as soon as we lose the ball in transition, perhaps. This team is very good in transition. Just needs to be very defensively aware. And I think Yazbek needs to be ready to step in and recover that ball if we do lose it in those kind of positions. Minnesota do press a lot in their half, so Eddie and Hani are expected to probably face a lot of pressing. So just need to be really smart with the ball, move it around quickly and confidently, and not allow that overly high tempo from them to get in the way, really. Again, Hani, I think he has a role to play in here in this kind of between the defense and the midfield. I think he's going to have space there. I think it's a real chance for him to be in here and spraying balls out to the wide players, maybe in the channels to Sam. I think, again, they can be caught out there, as quite a few of these teams that play the kind of 4-2-3-1 shape can be in transition. And I think he could really marshal that for us playing in this kind of pocket. Now, left wing, Madrigal, I think I'm going to start the same front three as we expect. And I'd like to see them be able to get some goals, make a point in this game, and then be able to take them off in the second half, perhaps. Maybe around kind of an hour mark. That would be the dream, I think, for this game, is to get it done and over with quickly, get plenty of goals scored, and then be able to rest players ahead of the Miami game. I think that's the biggest thing. Madrigal, I think, has looked great energy. He missed having Sam there last time out, and I think with Sam back, any crosses he brings in is going to be much more well received. I think the movement and interchange between all of these players, all these front four up here, is a lot more exciting and a lot more difficult to mark when they're all playing together. So I think we'll see more of that today. And so Madrigal starts on the left. I think Sam starts up the middle, and we just need to get as many goals as we can as soon as possible, basically, with this one. And then Espinoza again plays on the right. Espinoza, I think, in the press conference, is a little hard on himself in terms of the Dallas game. And I think hopefully we're going to see something from him today. I'd like to see an assist, maybe a goal, and a little bit more integration with this team as we start to develop into this MLS season and also start to progress through Champions Cup. So yeah, that's really my predicted 11. Just Sam Surridge back in for Corcoran and Josh Bauer coming in at right back. I'll be interested to see if that does happen, interested to see if maybe more players are rested. We could see an alternate universe where maybe Kasim plays in this kind of Mukhtar role, or Kasim plays out here on the left instead of Madrigal, perhaps. We could see potentially Pasillas up the top. But I think, honestly, we just need to get this team out there. I think this is a really solid team that's capable of going somewhere and doing the job tonight for sure, and get as many of these players back off. Of course, having 5 substitutes nowadays is pretty great. I'd potentially like to see, maybe with those substitutes in mind, perhaps Lovitz comes off for a Reed Baker Whiting later in the second half, maybe, again, the kind of hour mark. I think Eddie and Yazbek may need some rest. Maybe Acosta comes in for Yazbek and just kind of helps us see out the game. I think that's his role in our squad this season. So that's 2 of the substitutions I'd maybe like to see. I think perhaps Pasillas comes on and gives Sam that rest ahead of the game. That would be my 3rd sub. For Mukhtar, probably he comes off and we do see perhaps Kasim come on. The two players I know we won't see are Valdez and Brunet. They played last night at Huntsville, so maybe probably a Kasim comes on for Mukhtar. And then maybe a Josh Knight on for Espinoza, perhaps, to bring that energy. We're going to be left with one player that we probably wanted to rest playing the whole game, but I think it's just a case of seeing how the game pans out. I could be totally wrong. We may see a lot of changes in this game, but at the minute, I reckon this is what we could be seeing and what I'd like to see anyway tonight. Get a few goals in, 3 goals preferably, and then rest these players. So that would be my predicted 11 for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just going to check to see if there were any comments came in on this stream. Do you think there'll be good attendance with the weather? Is the only comment so far. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about the attendance tonight. I think it could be. I've seen a lot of people want to go. I'll be there. We'll be there. No question about that. But knowing Nashville SC fans, I think the weather could be a little bit of a factor, and it may be a little bit of a harder game. In all honesty, the weather is also a factor for the players. And are we going to see rain delays? Are we going to see thunderstorm delays? That could really break up this game and would pretty be the opposite of what I would like to see tonight. I'd really like to see this game played fast, furious for 60 minutes. Hopefully Nashville are well ahead and we can then rest some players. If that's not going to be the case, then it may be a little bit of a trickier night, and I could see that being something that actually wears the players down significantly. If we do have the kind of stop-start, weather, thunderstorm pauses and so on, I think that could be a little bit difficult, and at that point, we're looking into maybe a 1-0 kind of grind, I would reckon, depending on how this all plays out. But yeah, I appreciate that comment. But yeah, thank you everyone for dropping in, tuning in, and if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. And I'm hoping for, as I mentioned in my match preview, a 3-0 win tonight for Nashville SC. Come on, you boys in gold, and I will see you at Judas Park this evening.